Okay, I'm on time. Let's see. I just need to log into TalkShoe.
You are unmuted and can speak with the host.
Okay. Hello. I'm actually on time today, which I'm really happy about. It was important to me. So I'm on TalkShoe and
Recording started.
okay, I'm on TalkShoe and I am on YouTube. For anyone who's on TalkShoe, sometimes I forget to record the session and even the video. So if you don't see it, you could go over to Protect Life Now's YouTube page. If you just type Protect Life Now into the search bar, you'll automatically find it. And then that'll show you the video if you want. So there are some shows missing on TalkShoe, but that's my fault because I didn't record. Okay, so let me get my notes out. So today's topic is going to be, should TIs date? I'm going to do something different on today's topics. There's going to be a lot of videos. I don't know how to show you those videos, but it'll be the same as the previous weeks where you just listen to them. And I'm going to comment on those videos also. And let me just give you, tell you how you can join the conversation if you feel like it. You could call in, and the number to call in on your phone is 605-562-0444, and the PIN is 8813724. And if you are in a different country and you need a number so that you will get charged local rates, just let me know. I'll give you the number and you can call in from other countries. So this can be international. If you don't want to, so there's two ways to talk on TalkShoe. Either you could use your phone or you could use the internet. So if you want to use the internet, I don't know if you have to sign up for an account or not, but you could just go to TalkShoe and sign and look for the show, and then you could listen to it. And then if you want to talk, like have your voice heard, you have to, you go and they'll go through this process and I'll ask you if you want to use the internet or your phone. Just put the internet option and they'll use your internet. And it's kind of like more like a chat box type of thing. So you could just use your computer to talk. It does use your computer microphone, and some TIs are concerned about that. So I just want you to be aware of that. When you use the internet, it uses your computer's microphone. So if you're not comfortable with that, don't use that. So for anyone who doesn't want to go that route, TalkShoe does have a chat box. I'm not sure how to use that. I think automatically when you sign in, you you automatically can chat on it. So you could just type in whatever you want. And YouTube also, hi from Australia, how are you? If you want to call in, you don't have to call in, but if you want to call in, let me know. I can get you the number. So you could also chat in on YouTube. And you could also chat in on TalkShoe. Okay. So I think I got through every way that you could talk to me. All right. Or get on the show and talk to everyone else who's watching. I don't have a large audience, but I mean, I'm not concerned about that right now. I just want to get the information out and help as many people who I can. So I have to read the disclaimer. And the disclaimer is, the opinions expressed on this forum is not representative of PLN's official stance. RX's opinion is based on the information available at the time and not PLN's official stance. Not everyone who calls in is a TI. The gang stalkers have a tendency to pretend to be TIs and interfere with activities related to TIs. PLN and RX can't guarantee that TI hour participants, including guests, are real TIs, or if what is being said by anyone else is true. This isn't to invalidate anyone, but to take into consideration that gang stalkers sometimes pretend to be TIs. So, if for anyone who's new and watching this or who haven't watched the past previous episodes, um, I'm operating on two forums. I'm on YouTube and I'm also on TalkShoe. So if you make a comment and I don't respond to it right away, I'm probably like looking at the other page and stuff. So I'm looking at two screens right now. All right, so that's a disclaimer. And RX, I'm RX. So when I read the disclaimers, I just use the name because it's better. It's easier for me to read than to say I. So that's disclaimer number one. The next thing is I have to read a disclaimer for the videos. So by showing these videos, because I'm going to show a lot of videos today. I don't know how it's going to pan out. I don't know if you'll like it. I don't know if I'll like it. But let's try this and see how it goes. So I'm going to show the videos and I'm going to comment. Okay. By showing these videos on the show, PLN and RX are not asserting that the people in the videos are TIs, gang stalkers, or whatever they claim to be. PLN and RX aren't asserting that what is being said or portrayed in the videos are true or real. PLN and RX aren't supporting or against anything said or portrayed in the videos unless directly stated by PLN or RX. PLN and RX hold a neutral view of the videos. There's no implied support or rejection of anything in the video unless directly stated by RX or PLN because the videos are being used only for illustration purposes. Okay, so got through all that. So with that said, let's watch some videos. And the first video, I'm going to post it in the chat box. Hold on. Actually, let me get it up and play it, and then I'll post it in the chat box rather than have you waiting while I'm doing all this technical stuff. All right. So the next video is going to start the discussion. I can't really comment a lot on this topic because that's something that's really hard to observe in research. You know, I can't really observe personal relationships or what happens behind closed doors between, two people. So it's kind of like a hard topic for me to like get into and delve into. So that's why I'm using a lot of videos and stuff and going through that because that's going to help facilitate the discussion more than me talking about stuff that I can't really, observe. So here's the first video.
Hi, this is Arlene. So anyways, I wanted to discuss something because when you're a targeted individual, everyone shows we all show our footage of what happens to us and whether, it's on a thermal imaging camera or whether it is on your regular camera. But when I've spoken to a lot of females, okay, because it appears there's a high amount of females that have this problem. And I didn't even know it existed until I basically joined this club. And no one talks about how or can you ever date anybody. So I'm single. How can I know that if I meet somebody or someone asks me out, how do you know of their intentions? Like, do they want to date you or are they being paid to date you to get into your mind? Because if you live alone, then the closest access you have, you're with your family, but if you live with somebody and they are working against you, they can come in slowly, of course, because there's a lot of smart people that are dedicated to this project. So how would I know if I met somebody that they really liked me for who I am, or they were out to destroy me slowly? very slowly. They could be trained to do that. So I'm assuming the only person I could meet would be another individual who is in the same situation as me. But then they could be a plant. So I've spoken to other females, and I've talked to a few that were already married when, and then they became targeted and not their spouse. Now, some are still married. Um, some their spouses don't believe it's happening to them, and some it's led to divorce. And they've had other issues. Maybe like they had to go in for psychiatric care or something. Different issues. I won't get into it because I don't know the exact details, so it's not for me to judge them or say anything. I can only speak for myself. I am a strong-willed individual, and I've been told that since birth. So my question is well, not a question, but I had a coworker I used to work with, and I went out briefly with. Then all of a sudden, out of the blues, this person just started texting me, blah blah blah, everything complimentary. I'm not interested in this person, but when we go walk, like he'll come over and we'll go walking and stuff, but I have not interested in anything else. I notice that I get hit from him. I don't know if he has a device on him, or I don't know if it's through cell phone remotely, but he must know because we were both our government employees in different departments. He must know something about me. I'm sure something went out about me. So I don't know if he's getting like rewards every time I contact him, because I can't say like, okay, it's him, I don't want to talk to him. I mean, I'm still going to go out and live my life. And I know when I do things with work coworkers or friends, I know that I'm going to get hit by them, whether it's remotely, they're coming in through the phone or whatever it is, they know, and they're helping it happen. So, I still go out, and people might say like, oh, she's crazy, you already know. But what am I going to do? Lock myself in the home and become a nun or a monk? So I choose to live my life and just deal with whatever encounters I come. But I will always have my BFF, which is my my iPhone, to record any kind of situation that I may encounter. And there was another individual, a male, at my work that I like as a friend, and that's it, not interested in. But this person was interested in pursuing. And once that person found out I wasn't really interested, they stopped communicating with me, which tells me, and the division he works in is the division that is very notorious with my stalking and my electronic harassment and other things. So I'm assuming he was put up to try and ask me to go out and see, what information he could find with me. Like, say, if we went out to dinner, you're relaxed and you talk. But I'm very guarded, and I know what to say and what not to say. So I kind of inside me have a script as far as how much information I will release about myself and how I'm feeling, because I know anything I say, do, or any actions 24/7 that I perform will be incorporated into something. I'm just not sure what that will be, but I have to be very careful. And so it looks like I probably wouldn't be able to meet anybody. And, if that happens, that's fine. I can accept that because, I have family and friends, even though this situation is the elephant in the room that no one will discuss. But, I have other friends that live far away that I can't see, but we communicate on phone calls and stuff, and that's very nice. So some people, they might have an understanding spouse. Some people might have, there's one guy, he's out of state, his mother is very supportive and believes everything that happens to him and stuff like that. And there are other people that just, I know the relatives like have basically cut him off and stuff. So I only can take like one day at a time and go from there, because you just never know what's gonna happen the next day, and when you wake up, if you wake up. So it sounds gloomy, but I mean, it would be, I know realistically, it would be very hard to find somebody or even meet somebody, because if they're not in your same situation, they're not going to understand, and they're not going to know what your lifestyle is. And even if they did know and they chose to, be a part of your life, they have really no idea what kind of stuff could happen to them. And they may not like it and choose to opt out. And that is something that you have to live with. This is very interesting, because this red truck, he just keeps following me. And he keeps looking in his mirror. It's like a hyper little red truck. So anyways, I just wanted to share that information, because I'm sure, I don't know if males have that, experience or not. But I just wanted to share that information, and, let's discuss it, because it's one thing that no one really discusses. And I brought it up on a phone call with a group of people. And, basically it was like, yeah, you're not going to meet anybody, and that's the way it's going to be. So, it is whatever it is. And I guess that's all it is. But I do have, friends and stuff. Some friends not so close anymore, and some friends close. This red truck, this is the guy that just loves to follow me. He just darts in and out of the lane. And there he goes, right there. That guy. I'm going to call him Red. There goes Red. So, and here he comes alongside of me. Anyway, I have to get off at this exit. No, I have one more exit to go. So anyways, I don't know, some people have or don't have that problem. And I'm not sure what the experience is on that, but that's what happens. And I've got this truck tailgating me right here. Yeah, I got his plates are showing on here. Where are his plates? Right on there, his plates. He's following me. Yeah, there he is. So anyways, I'm going to pull over and I'm going to record him going by, because he's riding my ass. And then I'll just get on behind this car. So something like that, the way this truck was tailgating me and this Toyota was behind him, you don't know like if it's a performance or what. And I can't really think deep into it, what it is, because then you become a paranoid individual. So anyways, getting back to the dating thing. So I guess I'm not going to be able to date anybody. I know it would be kind of hard to do that. So I don't know. And I've got a lot of paparazzi, because everyone knows where I'm going. Because either my phone, GPS, or something. Who knows? That car behind me that's just getting off the on-ramp behind the white truck, he's been behind me slowly since.
Sorry, she rambles on about what's going on in the traffic.
So, anyways,
that's part of the experience, right?
I don't think this is as far as you go yet. Anyway, so I just wanted to discuss that because I don't know no one really discusses that except targeting the experience. But there is such thing as a love life. I guess either you have one or you don't have one, or you're not going to have one. So I don't know. So I just thought I would share that thought. And that's it. Bye.
Okay. Ooh, let me turn that off. All right, so that's the video number 1. I was chatting with someone on TalkShoe. I'll just read you the conversation. So the person writes, she's worrying about nothing in the TI realm. This is just life and dating. And then I wrote back, this is very important for TI. Stay tuned and you'll understand why. Some TIs are dating and some gang stalkers are trying to date TIs. It's important that TIs know the dangers involved in dating as a TI. And I'm reading this if you're on TalkShoe because the people who are watching on YouTube can't see the chat. And then the person wrote back, I date, I work 3 jobs. I have none of these issues. Mine are much more technologically advanced. Some people worry about nothing, in my opinion. And then I wrote back, I will talk about technological issues at a later time. Some TIs aren't as lucky as you, and some are new to being TIs. You can comment if you want to share your experience because it's not only about the bad, it's to talk about the issue in general. I'm not here to say, don't date, don't go out with anyone. I'm here to say if you're a TI and you're in the situation and you're considering dating, this is the information that you need to know, and these are the things that you need to consider. So that way you'll have enough information to make the decision that's better for you. Remember, I don't tell you what to do. I'm just giving you information so that you can decide what you want to do and what's best for you in your situation. I've gotten emails, and this is me. I've gotten emails by people who have been hurt by people they have dated or are married. So there are real concerns. And then the person wrote back, I think there is a hell of a lot of fear porn on these calls in relation to being a TI. I think there's a lot of garbage exchange in relation to coping and shielding, etc. This is just my opinion. I cope very well, which surprises me to no end. I just keep moving on with my life. So this is someone who is dating. This is an opinion of someone who is dating, who is a TI, and who has no issues dating. So that's one side of the issue. Maybe you're fine. And when I was searching videos, I found a few people who are like, yeah, I still date. Yeah, I still go out. One guy, he said he's in a relationship and it's even better because he feels like he's a superhero or a super agent and it makes it more exciting to the girl he's dating. So, I'm not trying to raise fear. I'm just trying to let you know what is happening, what could happen, and then just, giving you enough information for you to protect yourself and make the best decisions for you. So here, this person is dating and they're fine. So that's one opinion. Thank you for sharing your opinion. So in the video, the girl talks about her concerns with dating. Okay, so I have someone on YouTube that says my ex was set me up to get a false diagnosis. So that's someone who has a bad experience dating. So that's why this topic is important because some people will have a great experience, some people will have a neutral experience, some people will have a bad experience. Thank you for commenting. And that's a lot of things. And that's why I brought up this topic because, well, as the show progresses, you'll see why this is so important to talk about and discuss and see it from different perspectives and everything like that. And feel free to interrupt me because this is about you. If I'm talking, it's just because no one else is. So if you want to interrupt me and chat in, if you want to call in, don't wait till I'm finished. I will stop talking for you. It's just I'm talking because no one else is talking. And don't feel forced to talk. If you don't want to say anything at all, that's fine. Okay. Just do whatever's comfortable for you. So back to the video. So the girl talked about, she went through her concerns about, should I date? Should I not date? People are hitting on her. Are they there to set me up? Are they using this person to get me, to get more information? Can I trust this person? And all that stuff. So I think those are very valid concerns. And those are concerns for someone who's new to being a TI. Because what I did, the reason why the 4 topics that I picked, for the holiday issue were the 4 topics that I thought we had to discuss it like right off the bat because that's where they come in at you. Um, Humans are social creatures. We like to go out, we like to meet new people, we like to do things, and that's where they're gonna hit you. One TI said that when she was being targeted, they hit her finances really hard, so she wasn't doing anything but working all the time. She was like, she got up like at 5, she didn't come home till like 8 to get up at 5 again to work. So she had like no social life. So where she was working, there was, a beast that worked there. And the beast was like, "Oh, so what'd you do this weekend?" She was like, "Well, I can't really do anything. I'm always tired because I'm working because I got to pay my bills." So she was like, "Oh, okay." So then like the beast was like looking at her suspiciously, and the beast, I don't know if the beast said it to herself or to the girl. She's like, "Oh, we got to get you out more often. That's what we need to do." And then she walks away, and the girl is like, What the hell?" So they want you to be in that social situation because that's how they get to you. If you're home in your bed sleeping, unless they live with you, they can't get to you to run their little game. Okay. They need you out there. They need to surround you, swarm you, and do all that stupidity. So they want you to go out there. They want you to date. And if you don't know what's happening to you, you're kind of like naive. So you go out and all of a sudden you got all these people telling you how great you look, coming up to you and talking to you. And you're like, "Oh my God, I feel so good." They're like love bombing you. And you're gonna be more open. You're gonna let more people into your life. But and you're gonna do that as a human being thinking, "Oh, these are just people who wanna be friends," 'cause you're taught to be friendly as a human being, in a human society. But, if you're in the situation, those are not people who wanna be your friend. Those are people who wanna hurt you. They're trying to get in so that they could do something to you. And that's why I wanna discuss this because that's another way that they get in. Whether you're at home sleeping because you're too tired to go out or whether you're out being social. You could go out and be social, but you need to go out and be social and know that there are people who are gonna come up to you and talk to you, and they don't wanna be your friend. They just wanna get close to you to hurt you. And that's why this is important. And some will try to date you. Some will tell you how wonderful you are, blah 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 blah. But if you could recognize what's happening, maybe you can make a better decision on who you end up with, who you date, who you go out with, and all that good stuff. Um, so in the video, the other thing, my biggest concern and why I wanted to talk about this with TIs is, let's say you start dating someone, you meet someone, this person is great and stuff. But what if they were planted to get next to you? Will they give you an STD if you sleep with them? These people, remember, they're low. They want to hurt you and they will hurt you any way they can. So if someone has an STD and they're part of this network, I don't think they have enough scruples, to let you in on it. And to be fair, some regular people don't even let other people know that they have STDs and they pass it on. But this is a psychopath. Psychopaths love hurting people. So if this person has an STD and they're like, "Okay, well, I'm going to screw her over, watch what I do." You go out with this person, you sleep with this person, you end up with an STD and they knowingly did that. Like I said, that's even a risk in the no, in the regular population. I think it's even more of a big risk among TIs. And I think that's why I was like, no, I'm going to talk about this because these people could end up giving you something if you choose to get in a sexual relationship with them. And so I wanted to put that out there. That's like one big thing that I wanted to cover. And then the other thing you need to think about is when you're dating someone, they come to your house. You leave them alone in your house sometimes. You go to the bathroom. They're just hanging out. They're your partner. You there's trust in there. I hope nobody's going to date anyone they don't trust. I mean, and honestly, I don't think you should be in a relationship with someone you don't trust or who you don't think you could trust in the future. I don't think you should be like, "Oh, I don't trust him," but that's going to build over time. And no. If you don't feel comfortable or safe enough, or you don't think that maybe trust can be developed in the future, don't go. I don't think you should date someone. But that's my opinion. Like I said, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to, give you information. So, can you trust this person in your home? Who's to say that when you go to the bathroom, when you go to the kitchen, they're not doing something in the living room? Because these people do collect information. Can you trust this person in your car? Who's to say they're not like I said, these are concerns even in the regular population. When I say normal, if I use normal, don't think I'm calling TIs abnormal. It's just, the people who aren't experiencing this. So what is this person doing when they're alone in your car? And then can you go anywhere with this person? So this person says, yeah, let's take a trip. Let's do a weekend trip to a different state. And you go with this person. You're somewhere. Are they setting you up? Are you going to get beat up? You know, are you going to get set up? Is this person like, does this person have drugs in the car and they give you a purse and you're holding it and you're like thinking everything's okay? Next thing you know, cops are coming. It's one of their cops. Okay. It's one of the cops that are in on them and they're telling you, give them the bag. And here you are holding a bag full of drugs or something illegal. And then you're going to be like, oh no, but my boyfriend or girlfriend gave me that purse. They're gonna be like, yeah. And then that person might turn on you, be like, no, 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 that's your purse, remember? You know, it's like these are things you have to think about. You're in a situation and you're being swarmed by people who want to hurt you, who want to do damage to you. Okay. They might lie through their teeth, but they don't have any goodwill towards you as much as they pretend. So these are things that you need to think about as you're dating. These are situations that you should be concerned with. And I'm not trying to like raise fear in you. This is real. This is real. These are real concerns, you know? And for those who haven't experienced that, good for you, you know? And I'm not saying that in a condescending way. Great, you know? But there are some people who go through that. And I want anyone who's in a situation where they might be at risk for that and things might not go for them, may not go well for them, to be aware of that and protect themselves. So, the other thing, you know, I also want, you know, going back to the STD thing, should you consider celibacy? You know, you could date someone without having sex with them. I know that's hard now because this day and age, it's sex, 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 sex all over the place. You know, everyone's having sex. You know, if you're not having sex, there's something wrong with you. But maybe in the situation that you're in, because and I'm not trying to like pigeonhole TIs. Like you're in the situation, so you can't date, you can't go out with anyone because you can't trust anyone. Stay at home, lock the doors, and don't go anywhere. No, I'm not trying to say that. I'm saying you're in the situation, so you need to be careful who you date, who you go out with, where you go, and what's happening around you. That's what I'm saying. So if I'm throwing out these scenarios, I'm telling you these things, these are things that could happen and that have happened to TIs. So that's something that those are other things that you could consider. And yeah, you could be celibate. I think I'm not like 100% on what celibacy is, but you could be celibate. I think celibacy is just like you're not having sex. You could date and still be celibate if that works for you. Maybe you could find other ways if your partner wants to get intimate. Maybe you could figure out other ways to be intimate with your partner that won't involve any transmission of diseases. I'll leave that to your imagination. I'm not going there. So it's just ways that you could think of how to keep yourself safe and be aware of what's going on around you and what's going on concerning you. And let's see. So in the video, she said these people are very smart. So no. Upon observation of these people, they're not smart. I think in one of the videos, some of them are. Some of them are smart. Some of them are smart. But a lot of them are idiots, you know? And what happens is a lot of people get confused. They think deception and manipulation is intelligence. There's a big difference between being deceptive, manipulative, and intelligent. And a lot of people who are deceptive and manipulative will try to pretend that they're intelligent or try to chalk that up as intelligent. Oh, look how smart I am. I got one up on this guy. No, 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 no. These people are deceptive. Yes, 100%. They're manipulative. Yes, 100%. Are they intelligent? Oh, no, no, not all of them. Not all of them. Okay, so when they put on that air of superiority, like they're smarter than you, no, not all of them are smart. Okay, there's a lot of idiots in this network, and there's already a video out there explaining the difference, but I will go into it a little bit more. Maybe I'll go into it like a little bit more later. I just want to get through this. So don't get scared. These are not a bunch of like super nerds who are after you and they're so smart and they know everything and they're like rocket scientists. No, no. And I think a lot of TIs know that because the first thing I noticed when doing research was that a lot of people like, it looks like they just picked anybody off the street to do this. So, you know, I think a lot of you are aware that not all these people are intelligent or anything like that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I don't want them to intimidate you with the brains that they don't have, you know, or with the smarts that they don't have. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Some of them, yes, are intelligent. Some of them are smart, but not all of them. And And in case they like challenge you on that, like I said, you're manipulative. Tell them you're manipulative, you're deceptive, but I'm not sure you're really intelligent. And then the other thing, I know it becomes it's a running joke about TIs, right? We TIs collect license plate numbers. Oh yeah, whatever, and they just chalk it off and laugh it off. But keep collecting the license plate numbers because exposure will come. Truth always comes out, and when exposure comes, you could show those license plate numbers, and those are going to be the lead that's going to be needed to figure out who's involved in this and who does that. There's a lot of information on those license plate numbers, and the reason why the beast are so arrogant about it is because they don't think they're going to get caught. They don't think anything's going to change, and the reason why they think that is because this has been going on for generations. They've had this along, they've been keeping the wool over everybody's eyes. Not everybody. They've been doing this for years and years and generations, and they just don't think it's ever going to end. And then it's also the psychopaths, grandiose, you know, idea of him or herself. So they don't think they're ever going to get caught. So, but the truth always comes out, and they're always running from the truth. So keep collecting the license plate numbers. It's not foolish. It's not silly. Just keep doing it. When exposure comes, it's going to come in really handy when when everything's like coming together and everyone's trying to find out what happened. You will have because when exposure happens, you will be able to have some ID for the beast. So with that said, let me see if there's any comments. I was rambling. So someone on YouTube is saying my ex, and I'm reading the comments because the people who are on TalkShoe can't read the YouTube comments, and the YouTube people can't read the TalkShoe comments. So one said, the same person said my ex lies. I think she said, it says my ex as lies me for boom boom on first date. Be aware of the situation. I think they lied to get some on the first date. I don't know. Dating this thing goes the police harassment should to the shoulder. I know, and I experience it. I don't really understand what you're saying. Darling, my ex asked me. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Do you not speak English and you're trying to translate stuff in English? Is that why it's kind of like difficult? That's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing English is not your first language and you're trying to communicate, and that's why it's kind of like hard to understand the sentence. I don't know. But I'm not really sure what you're trying to say. But I mean, don't let that stop you if you figure out how to explain with this dating goes the police. Oh, I think she's saying along with this dating goes the police harassment shoulders. Oh, so she's saying that the police harassment goes along with the dating. I know, and I experienced it. Okay, so what happened with the police and dating? Did you date a cop or did your ex do something? And I mean, you don't have to go into it if you don't want to. I'll just leave it at that. Don't ever feel that I ask questions, but if there are times that you don't feel comfortable answering the questions I ask you or you don't want to elaborate, don't ever feel like you have to elaborate or go any further. Okay? This is like, I don't want, you do what's comfortable for you. I'm not pressuring you to say anything you don't want to say. I'm just trying to figure out what she's trying to say. But or she or he is trying to say. All right, so that person stopped commenting. I'm gonna go on TalkShoe, see if there's any comments I should read. No, okay. So with that said, you could keep commenting if you want. I'm just gonna try to figure out what you're saying. But I think that's it. So this person on YouTube, the ex lied to the person to get laid on the first date, and she's I think she or he is saying to be aware of that, and then the ex set the TI up to get a false diagnosis, and also something about, and she's saying that darling with this thing goes the police harassment shoulder to shoulder. She's saying that, police harassment goes with this thing, but I think you're applying it to dating and not the TI thing in general. I'm not sure. So that's where I'm confused. Are you applying that something happened between the police and while you were dating, or if sorry, my dear. Oh, okay. She's Serbian and she's working in Australia, and that's why. So yeah, English is not her main language. So she's trying to do as best as she can to communicate in English. Sorry, I said communicate. To well, communicate. I have to say communicate. And the reason why I like when I go subliminal, they use that word a lot, communicate, and so like it kind of creeps me out when I say it. But she's trying to communicate as best as she can in English. Um, so yeah, so just keep trying. If I don't understand what you're saying, I'll just ask questions or try to decipher as much as I can. So I'm gonna go on to the next video, but if you want to continue that conversation, you could, and I'll read it after the next video. So the next video is what is this? Oh, this one's kind of long. It is. It really is long. So I don't know if I'm gonna play it, but what I did was I went outside the TI community because this network has a lot of sociopaths and narcissists in it. And I think that a lot of the videos that I watch with the general public about sociopaths and narcissists applied a lot to the TI situation. So I went a little bit. I went outside the TIs, and the next few videos are outside the TI situation. But I wanted you to see how it applies. So I'm just going to play it. If you get it's about 18 minutes long. If you get sick and tired of listening to it, let me know. I'll shut it off. But the first few minutes are good. I mean, yeah, so just let me know if you're like, "Oh god, I think that's enough for stuff." I might not, depending on like oh gosh, these YouTube commercials. Um, so yeah, I might not shut off right away, but I probably will cut it short. So I gotta get through the ads. I can't stand these ads. Okay.
So today I want to talk about the topic. Hey guys. So today I want to
And
talk
this is
about the
nothing
topic
about
of emotional
TIs.
abuse and toxic relationships. I think it's important to remember that we have to look at ourselves as well and see what our toxic traits might be and where we need to grow. Also, if you are a codependent and you are with someone who is controlling and emotionally abusive, you need to look at the reasons why, because you have some childhood trauma that you probably need to deal with. And it's important to acknowledge that. With that being said, it's not always black and white in abusive relationships, emotionally abusive relationships, verbally abusive relationships, even physically abusive relationships. There's a lot of gray, and to outsiders, they're probably wondering why you don't just go, like why you don't just leave and walk away from this person. But the verbal and emotional abuse is existing with words of affirmation and I like you so much. I've never felt this way about someone. It's confusing, especially if you're in a vulnerable place, which most of the people who fall victim to these types of narcissistic personalities, they're in a vulnerable place. It doesn't mean that you're a weak person or a vulnerable person, but you are in a place where you fall for it and you fall for the honeymoon phase or the love bombing when they seem to be everything you're looking for, and they're not. It's a facade. It's not real. And just the idea that they are this perfect person is seducing. You don't like this person. You like who they were pretending to be in the beginning because it's not who they are. And that's the hard truth to face, is that they are not that person. Because throughout the abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, you're trying to get it back to that honeymoon phase where they were amazing and, well, he was so sweet to me then. And like, if I just do what he says, it'll go back to being like that. And that's not how it works. They will never go back to being that way. The love bombing, once that goes away, they'll rope you back in and say things like, oh, but I never felt this way. If you really like me, you'll do X, Y, Z. And that's not love. It's not like, it's abuse. It's objectification, and you are just an object in their life to help them get something. So in this video, I'm going to share some characteristics of toxic people, and I'm going to share examples from my experience with a toxic person. The first one I want to talk about is manipulation. In the beginning, they love bomb you. They talk about the future. They give you words of affirmation. You're so amazing. I've never met someone like you. You're so motivated and talented. You know, you're really a beautiful person inside and out. yada, yada, yada. And in this phase, they're also learning about you. So it seems like they're asking you questions because they want to know about you, but they're using it as ammunition. They're finding out your weaknesses, and they're finding out, how you work, how your brain works, what kind of person you like, what you're into, so that they can play the role and be that person to get you hooked. Yeah, and a lot of the times they will actually use these words. For instance, I checked off all your boxes. I was perfect for you. No, you pretended to be perfect for me, but you weren't. None of those things were really who you were. And when you come to them with your problems and you want to say, hey, I didn't really like the way you said this to me, or when you did this in public, I didn't really like it, or whatever the case might be, they're going to flip it around on you and say, well, if you didn't do X, Y, Z, I would have never done A, B, C. And then by the end of the conversation, you're apologizing to them. But they're constantly contradicting themselves. They'll say one thing and then do another. These people are compulsive liars. They will lie about anything. And I don't even think that they realize that they're doing it. There was a time in May that we broke up for like 2 weeks. And he was like, have you been with anyone else since we were broken up? And I was like, no, because I hadn't. And I was like, have you? And he was like, no. Like the next week, he got mad over something stupid. And he was like, you know what? I know that when we broke up, you were seeing other people because I have an STD and I know it's from you.
This is what I'm talking about.
I knew for a fact that I hadn't been with someone. So I was like, well, if someone has an STD, it's because you were sleeping around. So for the first time in our relationship after that, I went through his phone when he was sleeping. And what did I find? There were 3 other women that he was seeing. Now, one of them, he says, I didn't sleep with her, but I found naked photos of her on his couch. But he says they didn't sleep together. That was like 5 or 6 months of us dating. And honestly, looking back, I should have broken up with him after like 6 weeks when I saw all the signs of insecurities. So as far as verbal abuse, they will belittle you and undermine your achievements. He was always saying things like, you can't do it. You're not good at this. You're good at hair, but you're not that good. He would just say all kinds of things to like dumb me down. It's not a big deal, but they were just constant little jabs along with literally telling me that I'm a whore, I'm a C-word, I'm an easy slut, and I'm shallow with no substance, and I'm selfish, and I'm nothing but insert word for kitty. And that's all I'm good for. And then literally the same day, he'd be like, I love you. I can see a future with you. Do you want to have kids with me in 5 years? Am I the person that you imagine having children with? And just fucking weird shit, And it was so confusing. When you're in a vulnerable place, that type of manipulation can be so confusing. And you accept it as love, and that's not love. I will say that 100 times over. It is not love. It's not even in the realm of love. They are sucking the energy from you. Just remember that these people are projecting their own feelings of inadequacy onto you. The names that they're calling you, it's internally how they feel about themselves. Oh, and before I wanted to mention this earlier. Do not worry about what the friends and current fling of the narcissist thinks about you. And as far as the friends go, you have to trust that the friends know their personality and they take what they say with a grain of salt. Now, there might be some friends that eat up everything they say, like, oh yeah, that girl was psycho, whatever. But most people, most adults, listen to what someone says about another person and they say, okay, this is one side of the story. Now, truthfully, there are 3 sides. What each person said happened, or what it was like, and then what it was really like. So in my case, the friends knew that he was always sleeping around with different people each week. His friends knew that, and I trust that his friends knew that. He doesn't hide that he's like that. Maybe to like new flings, like potential candidates for him to use and abuse, but to his friends, they know what kind of a guy he is. So I would hope that when he tells a certain side of the story, that they're taking it with a grain of salt. They need constant validation. That's why these men tend to be serial cheaters. They always have people lined up. He literally would say to me when we were in a fight, I had 10 of you lined up, but unfortunately I chose you against my better judgment. He'd always use different women and be like, well, if you don't come over, then I'll just call so-and-so to come over. And like, he always found a loophole to be like, I'm not a cheater. I didn't cheat on you. We were broken up. You broke up with me for like a day, once a week. So what, was that the one day that you were sleeping with people? And then you use that to be like, I'm not a cheater. I didn't cheat on you. We weren't together. Okay. Every time we would break up, I would find evidence of some girl that had been in his house that he was sleeping with. I found eyelashes in the bed. They were stuck to me one morning, and I was like, what the fuck? And he goes, those are definitely yours. And I was like, I don't wear false eyelashes. And then I found nipple petals in between the bed and the wall. And now we're going to get on to the threats and accusations. This one's fun. Just, I don't know how I dealt with it for so long. But like I said, you become addicted to who you think that they are, who they pretended to be in the beginning. So then the whole time when they're doing all this crazy shit, you're like, no. I know who they really are. They're really this wonderful person. But they're not. They're showing you who they really are. And you just don't want to believe it. So he would always say things like, you don't answer the phone right now, I'll never talk to you again. You don't text me back within 5 minutes. One time he counted down. He goes 5 in a text, 4 in a text, 3. Is this motherfucker really counting down?
Sorry for the
like
cursing.
I'm gonna be in timeout if I don't respond fast enough because I'm at work working on a client blow drying someone's fucking hair? Damn. There was a time we had only been dating for like maybe 2 months. And I went to a brewery with my friends Kenny and Nate. They're a couple.
And guys, this could go both ways.
I'm not going out with a bunch of dudes. And I had a beer. I sent him a photo, my ex, of us playing cornhole. Within 5 minutes, we stopped playing the game and cashed out. And I was in bed at 10, fell asleep pretty quickly. 10:30, he calls me. I answer. He goes, why didn't you answer my text? I woke up for the phone call because that was louder than the text sound. And he was like, what are you doing? I was like, sleeping. I didn't notice your text. And he goes, sleeping? You just sent me a photo at the brewery. Who'd you go home with? Where are you really at? And I was like, I'm in my bed. That should have been, I mean, there were times before this that were red flags that I should have walked away, but this was the time when I should have been like, okay, this person is crazy. And then there was another time, and this was towards the end of our relationship. I think that this was in December of 2018. I was sitting at a Starbucks outside. It was like 9 o'clock at night with 2 of my girlfriends, and we were just drinking tea while they had coffees and talking. We were just talking. We were catching up and talking. I had my phone in my bag. He was texting me, and I wasn't responding. And then it rang. So I heard the ring, picked it up, and answered it. He was like, why are you ignoring me? I was like, I'm with my friends, I told you. He's like, well, didn't you see my text? I said, no, I didn't see your text, but I saw the call. And he was like losing his shit. And he goes, okay, well, read the text. And then again, like, I put the phone down to talk to my friends. Like, I'm not going to sit there and entertain him. He needed constant attention. And if I didn't give it to him when he wanted it, then he would lash out. So he called me over and over and over again. He was calling me all these nasty names. You're a fucking asshole. You're a bitch. You're this, you're that. Because I wasn't responding to his texts. And my friends are sitting there like, Bianca, what the fuck? And then, then it became an intervention. They were like, why are you with this person still? These things have happened before. You got back together with him. And now they're happening again. Like right in front of us. Like he knows that you're sitting here with us at a Starbucks. And he's accusing you of being at a club, cheating on him. He literally was like, well, I didn't know if you were at a club or something. The next day when we finally spoke. That's what he was saying. Well, I didn't know if you left Starbucks and went to a club. I would have told you. If we decided to go grab a drink somewhere, I would have told you. We were sitting at a Starbucks and I wasn't entertaining you because I was busy with friends. They'll try to keep you distanced from friends. So in my case, he was always telling me that my friends were a bad influence. Why do you hang out with her? You shouldn't be around her, yada, yada, yada. And then after like 5 months of us dating, we had a fight. And he goes, you know what? I fucked one of your friends in April. You can figure out which one. And none of my close friends, I know for a fact that he did not sleep with any of my close friends. It's possible that maybe he slept with someone who knew me, but definitely not one of my friends. After knowing his personality, I think he just said it to try to get me to admit to something. He had an app on his phone to create fake messages, like on Messenger. It looked like it was a Messenger message, and you can pick who was having the conversation, and you can put what each bubble is saying. So he would be like, oh, I talked to so-and-so, and now I know the truth. And I was like, no, you didn't. You're lying. He goes, oh, yeah, you want to see? And then he sent me the screenshot of the Messenger message. And I was like, what the fuck? And at first I thought it was real. And I was like, oh my God, like, why would you say that about me to this person? And then I look at the bottom and there's like a weird little bubble and it says create new fake. And so I asked my little cousins who are younger and they're like tech savvy. And I was like, does this look like a fake Messenger message? And they were like, yeah, for sure. It's from an app. So he pretended to have a conversation with someone so that he could use it against me and be like, see, even so-and-so thinks that you're lying.
Okay. This guy's crazy. Okay. She's describing a relationship with a psychopath or a narcissist. And I know it's like, oh, why are we listening to this? But the reason why you're listening to this is because a lot of TIs might find themselves in a situation like this. This is happening. And this video has nothing at all to do with TIs or TI situation. But the reason why is because you're dealing with a narcissist and a psychopath. So I'm letting you know that if you do decide to date, and this is from a girl's perspective, and guys, I'm going to talk about female psychopaths a little bit later. This could apply to you too, where the female psychopath plays the same game. She turns things around on you. She's out cheating. She's out doing like a whole bunch of stuff also. But these are like, this is to let you know about the red flags that are out there and what could happen to you. So if you do decide to date and you end up with someone who's part of the gang stalking network, this is a lot of stuff that you might be going through. So that's why I'm having you listen to this, because this is an example. And like it seems like narcissists and psychopaths, most of their tactics, because I'm sure they personalize it just like in the TI campaigns they tailor it to the person who is the target. But a lot of stuff, you could get some general points from this. So if you're thinking of dating and listen to this, because if you date someone and for some strange reason you end up dating someone who is a gang stalker, maybe they'll be doing some things. And if, I'm hoping that, let's say later on, stuff starts happening to you and you're going to be like, and you think you're crazy and they're telling you you're crazy because you are TI. They're going to bring that whole TI stuff because maybe one day you're going to confide to them, like, I'm in this situation, I'm a target individual, and they're going to do all this stuff to you and they're going to tell you you're crazy. Oh, you think I'm cheating on you? Well, you're crazy. You think you're a freaking TI. You think there are people following you. You think like that red car is like some kind of perp or something. You think you hear voices, So I'm playing this for you so that if you're in that situation, because they will use it against you. At first, they'll be all concerning, like, oh, I understand. I totally understand. I believe you and stuff. But when their game starts going and going and going, and they're like going in for the kill, and they're just like playing you like a porn or whatever, they're gonna throw that in your face. So when that time, if you end up one of these people, when that time comes where they're telling you crazy, I hope that you could think about this video like, wait a minute, I watched that show and some girl said, and she wasn't even a TI, some girl said she went through this. Well, am I dating a narcissist? Am I dating a psychopath? Well, let me look into it, and then you could decide where you want to go from there. So let me finish the video.
Piece of shit.
Great place to start.
Fabricated so much just to try to get me to admit to things that I didn't do. So from November 2017 until October 2018, I was loyal to him throughout all of this. Throughout him hooking up with other people, all of that, I remained sexually and emotionally loyal to him. Now in October, I had this epiphany where I saw it for what it really was, but I wasn't quite ready to break free from it. So when he would break up with me and be like, I can't do this anymore, see ya, have a good life, I'd be like, okay. And I would date other people. And then he would find out and lose his shit. I can't believe you would do that. See, you are all these things that I thought you were. I knew you were a whore. Okay, because I finally started dating someone else when you accused me of being a whore for 11 months. It's fucking crazy. And no one should put up with someone like this. And I want to make this video because I want people to realize that other people deal with it too. And a lot of people hide it from friends and family, and that's a mistake. Don't hide it from friends and family because you need a support system. You need to tell people what this person's doing to you and how they make you feel, how they're belittling you and manipulating you and accusing you of things and just making threats. You need to tell people because if it ever does escalate to physical violence and you're put in a hospital or something, you don't want the people around you to be like, no, they were so happy. I never would have thought he would ever do this.
That happens a lot.
He seemed like such a great guy. You want your friends and family to be like, no, I've heard the things that they've talked about and I've seen what he says to her. He is definitely capable of doing these things. That's what you need. So it's important to tell people when you have an issue. It's important to have a support system to talk to about these issues. If you have a gut feeling that something's going wrong, there's probably something going wrong. And going to this kind of person and saying like, hey, I just feel insecure that maybe, you're seeing other people. That's not the person that you open up to and have that kind of communication with because they will turn it around on you. And you have to accept that and you have to accept that they are not the person that you thought they were. And you have to walk away. You have to, for your own sanity. These people are extremely insecure.
She's talking about
They
narcissists and
have
psychopaths.
very low self-esteem.
Well, she's talking about narcissists.
They have a facade of the funny guy. Oh, he's so confident. Look at how what? Please. So I hope this video helps someone. The biggest thing is just accepting that they are not the person that they pretended to be. Because that's really what the fantasy is you keep going back in your mind to that person like, oh, but if we could only go back to this time when things were like this and when he would say these things to me. If I just do what he says, it'll go back to that. And that's never the case. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work that way. So accepting that they are who they are, when they show you their true colors, that's who they are. Not the person that they were in the beginning, because that's not real. The person months later that you see, that is who they are. Not the person in the beginning when they're trying to wrap you around their finger. So accepting that, knowing your worth, and walking away.
All right. So, not feeling the first, but thanks. All right. So that was a long video. Ooh. And what happened? Somehow I got to my own chat, my own live screen.
Introducing Z.
Oh, that's so funny. You know how they have autoplay and who the next video is? So my show is my next video, so that's why I heard myself talking. So anyway, so that video was long, but it was just to give you the warning signs because at the end, she explained why she did that because a lot of people fall into that trap. A lot of a lot of psychopaths do use emotional and psychological, psychopaths and narcissists do use emotional and psychological abuse, but it often escalates. If they can get you to where they want you, it often escalates to physical violence. And so you need to be aware of what's happening and keep a log and all this stuff like that, because if it gets that bad, you don't want to have to start from the scratch. Like, when we first dated, he did that. There's like a record of this type of behavior happening ahead of time. So I don't think the video I only showed. Okay, so her video. So as I was watching videos about narcissists and psychopaths by the general population, not necessarily having to do with TIs, let me explain. I am gonna go over the hour on this because I've noticed that the second hour of TI hour, random talk, no one really calls. So I'm gonna take some of that time for this topic because I think it's so important. Because this is one of the areas where they get you, you know? That's it. And I think it's important that you know what's out there, get the information so you can make the best decision for yourself. So I'm going to take some of the time from random talk only because no one really calls or chats, and I usually cut it short. I'm going to use it for this. So yeah. So as I was watching the videos about psychopaths and narcissists and stuff, which have nothing to do with TIs. Like that video has nothing to do with gang stalking or TIs and all that stuff, or perps or whatever, or gang stalkers. That's a video for the general public about the general public. And it was just amazing how the videos I watch describe the things that TIs described. Like what they said was so similar to what I've observed and what other TIs have said has happened to them. And sometimes I'm like, well, then why doesn't, people why do people like not believe TIs? And I think maybe it's because, with the general public, it's one person, maybe two person, it's boyfriends. It's in a situation where people are used to a normal. And I think in the TI situation, it's more than one person. And they're like, no. And it's very like, even when I started this, when I first started observing, and I was like, okay, and I saw the way the beast act, I said, okay, this person, there's something wrong with this person. When I saw the second person, I was okay, there's something wrong with that person. But then when you see it's a group of people, my thought was like, no, there's no way that with all these people involved, that one person doesn't see what's going on here and that what they're doing is wrong. There's no way, no way, no way. And that's because when you grow up in a normal human society, if there's a whole group that's doing wrong, someone or a group of some people within that network are gonna be like, no, something's wrong here. This isn't right. And they'll do something. But that wasn't happening. And I was just like, what the heck is going on? Like, I see multiple people doing these very cruel and sadistic things, and they seem to be in on it, and they seem to like have that's why it's called organized, because they seem to be organized. So why doesn't one of them pick up that what they're doing to an innocent person is wrong? Why? And that's like that for years. I'm like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Why don't they see that there's something wrong, that what they're doing is wrong? What's wrong with these people? And of course, the first thing you're going to go, they're chipped, they're stupid, they're on drugs and stuff. But after a while, they're psychopaths, they're narcissists. Psychopaths and narcissists get off on this. Okay. They're not all just medicated. Some of them are. They're not all on legal or illegal drugs. Some of them are. They're not all like, out of their mind, alcoholics, mental cases, blah, 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 blah. The only answer of how a group of people, and even internationally, could do this, the only thing that made sense to me and put it together was that this is a group of people who are narcissists and psychopaths. Now, this is going to sound far-fetched, but once you start learning how narcissists and psychopaths work, when you first start, it's like, how do I say? There are gangs. General population, there's gangs. There's a group of people who get together, they form a gang, they go out, they do violent things, they commit crimes, they steal. There's drug cartels. There's human trafficking. What is that? That's a group of people who are like-minded in that they like to do illegal things. They like to do things that hurt other people. They don't care. Okay. Drug cartels. Those are people who like to make money selling drugs. They don't care if the drugs hurt you or that someone is gonna decay and this is gonna damage someone's life and relationships. Drug cartels don't care. Gangs don't care that they're ruining their own neighborhood. They don't care that they're killing innocent kids or bringing down their own ethnicity or whatever they do, or that they're selling drugs. They don't care. Okay, they're doing what they like to do. They're a bunch of people that got together to do this. White collar crime. Maybe, people who swindle people out of money. They don't care that they might be taking away somebody's rent money, that someone can't feed their kids because they take their money. They don't care. They want to get what they want to get. This is a group of people that got together. They want to make money the easy and fast way. They don't care how they get it as long as they got it. Okay, that's their reward thing. Okay, and they get together and they form in this operations. I just heard, I've heard of rings where people steal stuff from stores. There's like a whole ring where people go in and they steal stuff and they set up these situations to make it easier for them to steal stuff from stores and resell it. They don't care that a place might go out of business. They don't care that they don't care as long as they get what they need, which is the products to resell and get the money that they want. So with that being said, is this so far-fetched that maybe there is a network of psychopaths, a group of people who happen to come across each other, maybe through these little crime networks. They're like, hey, well, maybe we can do this, maybe we can, pick someone out of the crew, out of nowhere and go for them for fun. Maybe you're not a politician, maybe you're not a celebrity, maybe you're not high powered, but you're their narcissistic supply. You're there for fun. You're there for them to target and get off on, and like one of the things that confuses me is, and like I say, I understand you, general audience, because I was there. I was part of the general audience. This thing sounded absurd to me a few years ago, or like when I didn't know about this. If someone came and talked to me about this, I probably would have the same reaction, like, okay, maybe you should get mental health, what's going on? I would have the same reaction. So I'm not looking down on you. I understand, like, and even like now that I know more about this, it's still hard for me to wrap my my mind around, because it's like just so different. But it's just like I just don't, as of now, so I shouldn't say I don't understand, because I do understand where the audience is coming from, and like this isn't real. I'm sorry, I cursed. But if someone came to you and said, "Oh, I just got robbed," you're going to be like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Is everything fine?" Like, no, what happened? Well, some person just came up to me and da 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 da. You're not going to sit there and say, "Oh, you just got robbed. Why you? Why would someone rob you? You just got robbed. Why would they pick you out of everyone walking down the street? Why would they pick you to rob? What makes you so special that someone has to rob you?" But that's what they say to TIs, They say, TI's like, "Well, I think this is happening to me." Well, why you? Why you? If someone's living in a bad neighborhood and let's say a gang banger member or whatever went up to them and did something to them, they're going to be like, no one's going to be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't stand these gangs. They're so bad. We need to do something about them." But they're not going to say, "Why you? Why did I get?" I mean, what they might ask, "Why were you targeted?" But if they're like, "I don't know, I was just walking down the street," they're like, oh, they're going to be like, "Okay, well, that person's a gangbanger. There's something wrong with that person. This person got attacked for no reason to an innocent person, but that person was a gangbanger or gang member, and that's why they attacked them." It makes sense. It makes sense. But when a TI comes and say, "Oh, there's," and then if the gang members follow up, and their whole gang starts, stalking this person, it makes sense. This person's being stalked by a gang, because we know what gangs are. Humans see gangs, and they know gangs are involved in this activity. Human trafficking is coming out more now, so people know what human trafficking is. Robbery, there are robberies in some neighborhoods because it's bad. So if someone's being targeted by a robber, that's fine. It's not fine. It's not fine, but it's fine. It's fine. I was saying that they understand. They're not going to question the person like, "Why you? Why would this person target you? You're not a celebrity. You don't have anything. You're not rich. You're not wealthy. You're nothing. You're nobody. Why are these people after you?" Like they do to TIs. And what I'm trying to tell you is that it's a very similar situation. The only thing is that this network hasn't been exposed yet. So TIs, that's why you're getting the YUs, because this network hasn't been exposed yet. But audience, you need to understand that maybe the TI doesn't have a reason, and it's not because the TI is crazy. At least I don't think most TIs are crazy. Some might have mental issues, but it's because they're being targeted by a criminal network of people. And this is a criminal network of psychopaths that I am starting to think got together and they realized that they could do this stuff and they could get away with it because psychopaths love to get away. They love to pull the wool over someone's eyes, makes them feel really good. And especially they could pull over the eyes nationally. They got together and they're doing this operation, and I don't fully understand it either. I don't fully understand what's going on. I'm just throwing this theory out to you that maybe, and which is, I don't think it's very far fetched because these pockets of crime networks do exist already, you know? So I don't think it's far fetched that a TI claims that they're being stalked. And the DOJ, Department of Justice in America, for people who don't know, does recognize stalking by proxy. They already know that stalking by proxy does occur. And that's essentially what gang stalking is, stalking by proxy. So I don't think it's so far-fetched that a TI says that they're being stalked by a group of people and this is happening. Okay. But with that said, I know electronic harassment is where like people are like tinfoil hat people, do 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 do. So that has to be proven too. So, but I think for like the stalking part, I don't think that's so hard to believe. The electronic harassment, okay, I know where you're coming from. It sounds crazy. Okay, that needs a little bit more proof. And I'm not saying it's crazy because you know I'm working on that. I'm working on that. I'm working on electronic harassment and making it. I'm working on showing electronic harassment for what it is. And Going Subliminal does address that. So I'm not agreeing with the public that you're crazy TIs. No. So that is something that needs to be proven, electronic harassment. But as for the stalking part, I don't think that that is so far-fetched and out there. Breaking the problem down into two pieces. Stalking, I think that is within the scope of the general public and what's been going on and what's happening. I don't have to date back to MK Ultra. I don't have to, even like the mobsters, there was a big mob gang. I don't have to go back to Hitler. This is stuff that's happening now. And what TIs are saying, and I'm not making fun of anyone who goes into the history of that, all that's relevant. But I don't have to go back to that because all that stuff is happening now. All that stuff happens in the general public. So I think this is, and that's why I keep talking about narcissists and psychopaths, because that's the thing, that's the only explanation that makes sense to me at this point in time. Maybe as further information comes, I don't know if that's going to change, but this is a network full of narcissists and psychopaths. And I don't think it's far-fetched that they got together and decided to just target innocent people like a robber would. Like someone who wants to rob somebody would, or a human trafficker would, but that's just my call. So back to her video, the video we just watched. And the reason why I think, her video was not about gang stalking, but it was still useful because a lot of gang stalkers are narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, or whatever you want to call them. And this can also help the audience because it is a general video that is applied to the general population, not specifically to the TI community. So one thing she talked about was preying on the psychopath preying on your vulnerability. And I think and the narcissist preying on your vulnerability. So in the general population, you see how it goes because she showed that they want to make you vulnerable. But I think TIs, but they already know that. But in the gang stalk, as it pertains to gang stalking, TIs are very vulnerable, very vulnerable. Okay, especially in the beginning when you don't know what's going on and you just know everyone's mean to you, strange things are happening, and you're like, what the heck? You kind of become vulnerable. And I think in the beginning, and sometimes, after the beginning, when you kind of know what's going on, sometimes you just become desperate for a normal interaction or relationship. You're just like, I'm just so sick and tired of this. I just want something normal. I don't want to do this gang stalking thing anymore, which you're not doing the gang stalking thing. It's being done to you. So what happens when you become normal and just desperate for something? I mean, what happens when you become desperate for something normal? The gang stalker comes in as a hero. You're walking down the street and this person shows you kindness after everyone's been treating you like crap for the past day, hour, week, year. This person comes in and shows you an ounce of kindness because we as humans, okay, growing up in human society, we usually show each other kindness. Usually, in the human society, people don't go around being mean to each other. Like humans have issues with that, but in this situation, you're going around and people are just treating you like crap. whether covertly or, you know, overtly. They're just treating you like crap. And here's this person, and they're just treating you like you're a human being, you know? And you're just like, oh my God. And, you know, you might be at the point where you just don't care. You're just like, I just want this. I just want to be treated like a human being. I just want someone to be nice to me. What else is that? You know? And so, like, you're vulnerable. And this person picks up on that and they want to become the hero. They're going to one that's going to bring the light back into your life, the light back into your eyes and all that stuff. And what's happening? They're going to try to date you. They're going to try to get you in a relationship. And what's happening is that all they're doing is that's how they want. It goes back to that dependency, you know, and getting you in a place where they can get you there. And when this person shows up, they're not doing anything. All they're doing is, okay, I got her. She trusts you. She or he trusts me. I got her. Just tone it down a bit. Just tone it down a bit. So they tone it down. Okay, all of a sudden the stalking subsides and your life seems normal. You're with this person and things have seemed to gotten back to normal. And of course, they're going to remind you, whether overtly, covertly, that didn't happen until they came into your life. And then you're like, oh yeah, you saved me. You're my saving grace. You brought life like back into my life, all that lovey-dovey stuff. But you were just like set up, you know? And what's gonna happen, the same thing as her. They're gonna love bomb you. You're gonna have that honeymoon period. Everything's gonna be great. And you just want that as a TI because you're just so sick and tired of all the BS with this gang stalking. And then, of course, what's gonna happen is when they got you where they want you, where you're fully dependent and they could take off that mask. I know you're not going to leave or run. They're going to start mistreating you and you're just going to be treated like crap again. And at that time, they're going to, you're either going to be afraid to leave because they're going to say, well, if you leave me, it's going to be worse. You're going to go back to the way things were. And I know for a fact that you don't want that, do you? You know, you don't want things because I'll make it worse than it was before. You know, they're kind of like trapping you. And I think they call this a rescue. You know, they have things, I think they have people who they call, oh, she's a rescue, where one of them who's interested in you for whatever reason, looks, money, brains, prestige, status, sex, whatever, you know, just to have a stable home. You don't have to have much. Like if you're a TI and somehow you've gotten through, you have a job and a house, you know, some gang stalker who is broke, don't have any money, you know, might look at you and you're like, oh, well, I don't have much. Why would this person come for me? I live in a studio, you know, I have a minimum wage job. I'm just barely getting by. Well, you're a house for that person. You're a place to live for that person. So if there's a gang stalker out there who's a part of this and they don't have a home and they need a place to live, guess what? They're going to go for you because you're a house for them. It's not that you're a person or a partner. You're a place to live for them. You know, you're food on the table for them. They don't, you know, so don't think.
Recording paused.
I think I just want to talk to you. So don't think that it has to do with, don't think that it has to do with, I don't know why the recording was paused. Don't think that it has to do with, sorry.
Recording started.
Okay. So don't think that it has to do with you being a millionaire and having all this stuff. No, because as you can see, T.I. said that maybe it looks like they pick people off the streets. So maybe there is someone who is a gang stalker who's living on the streets or who's barely getting by and they just want someone they could use to have a roof over their head and food on the table, you know, or someone just to say that they have someone. Maybe they just want someone nice that they could keep punching and come back. So that's where you might find yourself, you know. And like I said, this is not for everybody. Like I said, there's a TI that said that, you know, she or he is dating and they're having a good time. But these are situations that you might find yourself in. So you got to look at both sides. So start a relationship. Okay. And then the other thing that she mentioned, she said not to trust his or her friends because they know how the person is. And that's what happens. And this is horrible. But what the gang stalkers do is, like, once you start dating someone, you get to meet his friends, her friends, right? And you get you're like in a new circle of friends. Okay. So now you have all these new circle of friends. But what if the new circle of friends are nothing but gang stalkers? You're hanging around a whole bunch of people who want to hurt you. You know, and it's just like, that's terrible. That's a very terrible situation to be in because they're just going to mistreat you. They're going to like psychologically attack you, emotionally attack you. You're I don't know. I feel like you're screwed. I mean, in my opinion, you're better off alone than to be like trapped, amongst these people. So they're going to bring you in and then they're going to bring you into their circle of friends. What if they bring you into the circle of friends and their circle of friends are like drug dealers or, human traffickers or, just a bunch of piece of, then here you are exposed to a whole group of people who under normal circumstances you would never have associated with. But because you're with this person and you kind of like trust this person's opinion, you're hanging out and talking to a bunch of people who you shouldn't be hanging out and talking to, and you might end up in trouble or just amongst them. And what they also like to do, um, they like to pass you around. So you break up with the person who brought you in, you start dating his or her friend, or a friend of his or her friend, or a friend of his or her friend, and they pass you around. So everyone's telling everybody, oh, when I was with this person, this is what happened. When I was with this person, that happened. So they kind of like have a bio on you and history on you, and you're just being passed around the circle. No one's taking you seriously. It's just it's a disgusting situation to be in. And this could happen. I'm not saying it will happen, but this could happen. So yeah, so this could get a TI trapped in a gang stalker circle of psychopaths. And they may try to use you and pass you around to their circle, or they may mistreat you. I was watching a video about another TI, and this didn't have to do with dating, but she said that she had started a job or something, and something had happened. But when the psychopaths, when the beast finally, when the gang stalkers finally chose her, one of them announced that they had found their whipping boy. You don't want to be the whipping boy, but that's what they're going to make you once you're in the circle of friends. You're going to be the whipping boy. You're going to be the scapegoat. You're going to be the one that they all beat on so that they don't fight each other because they don't get along. They don't really get along that well. So, they kind of like have to have a victim so that they feel like, okay, well, they're not going to come after me. They're going to go after, so because that's the whipping boy. That's not a technical term, but that's an idea of what's going on. So with that said, I'm going to go to the next video, and the next video, just to show you that it's not just guys who are psychopaths. It's also girls. This video is okay. It wasn't the best, but it's okay. I think it's useful. I mean, I'm not trying to say anything bad about them. It wasn't the best, meaning that it wasn't the best applied to the situation, but it was very useful. So let me do this video. Hold on. Oh my God, no commercial. All right.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. My name is David. Today's video is I'm going to list a bunch of traits of a female sociopath, what they're like. And the reason I'm doing this video is I was reading an article the other day, and it was interesting, but so accurate, so spot on. A lot of the videos I do and a lot of other people in this community, a lot of videos we do about narcissists is like we kind of list narcissistic behaviors. We say narcissists do this and this and this and this and this. And a lot of you out there might say, well, I've done this one before. I've done that before, right? And we kind of say, well, it's all of it combined all the time, pathologically, and that's what makes a narcissist, not just a little bit. If you need this many, But this article, written by Shahida Arabi, and some of you guys know who she is. She's a total expert on this stuff. This article doesn't just say, sociopathic women do this. This behavior that I'm going to identify is by sociopathic women. So when you see this behavior, you can say that's what a sociopathic woman does, rather than, hey, sociopathic women do this, 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 and this. And some of you women out there go, well, and even some of you men, I've done some of those things, or, yeah, but that doesn't mean, no, this type of behavior is from a very female sociopath. Okay. The article, and a lot of my videos, I may use a little, some sources and add a little bit, and I give a lot of my own opinion and, kind of what I think it is, what I've digested from stuff. But this video, I'm going to read parts of the article, and then I've got another article too. I'm just going to read parts of these articles, and that's it. I don't want to give really any of my opinion. I wanted this to be, you know, an expert's opinion. What a female sociopath is. So the article is called Six Dark Traits of the Female Sociopath by Shahida Arabi. She says, those who meet the criteria of the dark triad, narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism, I can't ever say that right, Machiavellianism, often lack remorse for their destructive actions. They use cognitive empathy to assess their target's vulnerabilities, but they lack the affective empathy to truly care about the welfare of others. They're often sadistic in provoking and deceiving others. The reality of their malice becomes darker when we consider females are socialized by our societies to be covertly aggressive. As a result, they are more likely to bully others through underhanded methods such as relational aggression, abuse through sabotage of someone's social relationships and reputation, all while mastering the guise of a sweet exterior. So here's one. They mirror and love bomb you to get information. I knew someone whom I later discovered was a sociopath, used me for help. And she used to always tell me, always say this, don't forget me when you're famous. Don't forget me. You know, and it's like, I'm never going to be famous. And he's like, oh, yes, you are. Oh, yeah, you're going to be so famous. Just don't ever forget about me. Yeah. Number two, they're superficially charming and demonstrate exaggerated speech or gestures which lack authenticity. She's reptilian in her demeanor, and you might notice a flash of her envy, anger, or greed from time to time when the mask slips. The projected kindness rarely meets her eyes. You might hear her say, like point out her own effort into being a good person, you know, and then they'll say, oh, that's just me. That's just who I am. I'm just a good person. But in her eyes, it's like, she will sabotage you covertly. She will exclude her victim from social groups, pitting people against them, accusing them of things they did not do, spreading rumors or gossip, slandering or smearing them, and also creating rivalries among people. She will demonstrate little to no remorse in harming others to get what she wants, and they exhibit internalized misogyny. So, women out there, females, you know what the social contract is between all you females, amongst females, right? Women should support and protect each other, right? Females shouldn't attack and be aggressive toward each other. So the female sociopath will publicly and more often covertly attack women.
They will. That's one thing I
when you
learned
see a woman
the hard way.
just attacking other women too. I mean, besides cross the unspoken rule amongst women, it's so antisocial. It's so aggressive. Here's another one. She is sadistic and enjoys inflicting pain. That is why smear campaigns go on forever, right? They feed off stress and agony. They'll say one thing bad about somebody, and it's like, okay, you did it. But then they'll be like, oh, that hurt them. I like that. So I'm going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it all year, right? 2 years, 3 years, who knows? Never stop.
Oh, that sounds good.
So that was the first article. And then now the second article is How to Spot Sociopathic Women by Jane McGregor. And the sociopathic women may opt to manipulate social networks in an attempt to exclude their chosen target from a community. And I mean, internet is the female sociopathic's playground, haven, hunting ground. just keep attacking single people in a community. And this leads me to the next one. What motivates sociopaths is the achievement and power and control over others and the expectation of some sort of gain, which is used to provoke the admiration and envy of others and in turn glorify the self. So she will attack a person in a community, work, school, whatever, and say they're bad and I'm doing this because I'm protecting everyone. Because sociopaths will, to do this, they'll introduce a threat to the community. A threat. Look at this person in the community. Guess what they've done? They're horrible, see? And I'm going to attack them, and justify it by saying they're so bad. But guess what? I'm the one doing it. You know, the hero. Yeah. So I'm the victim. We're all victims. I'm the hero. Victim, hero. Total sociopathic women. So, like I said, this isn't everything that a female sociopath is, but when you see a female behaving this type of way in society, probably a sociopath, you know, and it, you know, if not diagnosed, highly exhibiting sociopathic traits, antisocial behavior. Women like to connect. Women, when women meet, you know, men at the very most, you know, might shake hands. Women like to touch, hug, kiss. You know, they like to connect. Women need to connect much more than men. So when you see other like women attacking other women like this, especially socially, and saying all kinds of horrible things, sociopath, most likely. Okay. So like I said before, this isn't just, I mean, when you see this stuff, sociopath, it's not just like, I mean, how many of you out there have done any of this or even fought like this, right? So it's not like a narcissist where, yeah, maybe you've lied before, maybe you've manipulated someone before, maybe you've even cheated on someone before. Doesn't mean you're a narcissist. But this kind of means you're a sociopath, you know? So that's why I thought it was so good. It's awesome. It's a great identifier from two great sources, and women wrote it. Pretty cool. If you guys have any questions or you want to add anything, please go down below and do that. Thank you very much. Love yourself first. I will see you again. Bye.
Okay. So that I thought was good. Intro to the female psychopath. She is vicious. Okay. She is, whoa. Okay. And the difference between a male psychopath and a female.
Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. Taking a look at the
sorry, it's a
female
payless.
psychopath.
All right. So the thing about the female psychopath is that the reason why she gets away with it a lot more is because she knows how to hide her sadistic nature better than guys. And I think that has to do with how females are raised and stuff. We can't. Okay. And that's just how females are raised. You know, we learn how to hide our feelings and stuff like that. So girls are just better at disguising it than guys. But I just wanted that as an intro to the female psychopath. And I think guys, I mean, I've I was watching videos about guys who talk about the female psychopath, but you know, it's like guy talk, so it's a little bit too much for me. So I had to like, no, I can't watch this. So if you want, there's videos out there with guy talk, like being really like macho guy talk, talking about the female psychopath. And it seemed like it was good information because she is like, whoa, like the things the guys were describing from the amount I watched that these girls did, I was like, whoa, you know? So I think you should watch those videos, guys talking to other guys about the female psychopath, because you really need to. And as for females, you have to watch your back. Okay. You hit this. She's vicious. I call her Jane Psychopath, because there's Jane Doe, who's, you know, the normal female. And there's Jane Psychopath. Jane Psychopath is vicious. She's, whoa, she'll go after you, male and females, and she does hate other females. So I will do something about Jane Psychopath, so that you could be more aware of her. But I'm kind of like running into my second hour, so let me get through the video. So that was my main talk about TIs and dating, and things that you need to consider if you're going to date. Like I said, someone had great experiences on talk show, didn't even know why we were having this conversation. So doesn't mean that it's all going to be bad. Someone else had bad situation. Guy had a bad situation with girls. Girls have bad situation with guys. Guys have good situation with girls. Girls have good situation with guys. La di da di da. But all I want to do is present the information to you so that you can make a better decision, so that you could be aware of what's going on, so that if this does happen in the future, you will have something to refer to and realize, oh, whoa, this is not right. Something's wrong here, and you could, hopefully try to get yourself out of that situation before it escalates or gets worse. So with that said, that is pretty much the end of the TI and dating thing. The next things I want to leave you with is things that can help you survive. Some of the things, and so I'm going to play a few videos. Because what I've noticed is that the gang stalkers try to force TIs into conversations and interactions a lot. And I was wondering, like, why did they do this? Why do they feel the need to talk to a TI? Why do they feel the need, like, because you could have like the most out and out bad interaction with them, but they'll still come to you and try to talk. And I'm like, why are they trying to talk? Why are they trying to talk? So I found out and again, this has nothing to do specifically to the TI network. This has more to do with the general network. So I found out some really cool videos that explains a little bit about why psychopaths and narcissists try to induce conversation. So let me play that for you. And the reason why I'm playing all these videos, because I feel like they just say what I would want to say. And also, I'll explain why I'm showing them later. So here's that.
Hi guys, do you like my new hat? My sister made it for me. I love it. Today I'm going to talk about induced conversation. This is a weapon that the narcissists use to control their victims. And it can be very subtle. It is really, really difficult if you're in a relationship with a narcissist to actually see this. For me, I didn't see it until I've gotten out of the relationship, and I have a firmer understanding of narcissism, and I've done a lot of work done a lot of studying with Ross Rosenberg. He's a psychologist that works with codependents and to help understand narcissism. He calls it self-love deficit disorder if you're a codependent. And he talks about induced conversation, and some of the other psychologists do as well. And it's really interesting because what you may see if you're trying to communicate with a narcissist is that if they can get you to do all the talking, then basically they win. If they get you to react and to get sort of emotional and have sort of emotional reaction, they are feeding on your reaction and they are maintaining the control. And they can do this by using methods of, withholding, withdraw, silent treatment, and stonewalling, to where their victim gets more and more frustrated because the victim is probably trying to communicate like a normal human being and trying to get sort of honest, sincere communication from the narcissist. But when the narcissist will stonewall, the victim will get more and more frustrated, and eventually, often what I did anyway was just give up, right? So the narcissist gets to maintain that power through that really, sort of devious form of manipulation. So if you found yourself or find yourself in a conversation with a narcissist where you're, getting more and more heated and annoyed and frustrated because you're trying to communicate and you feel like you're literally communicating with a stone or a wall, that is a sign that you are being manipulated, and the narcissist is using induced conversation to get you to, react and get more and more frustrated and, get more and more verbal, and they, shut down. And a lot of times they'll just stay there stonewalling while you're just, frustrated and trying to get them to communicate. And, a normal person, let's just say, if a normal person was frustrated in a conversation with somebody who is getting more and more heated, they may say something like, hey, it's hard for me that you're getting so heated and emotional right now. Can we stop this conversation and maybe come back to it in like a couple of hours? Or can we, I hear what you're saying. I don't know quite how to respond to you right now. Like that would be, a sincere form of communication if you were trying to communicate with somebody who's getting frustrated. But with a narcissist, you'll notice they'll just stay while you are getting more and more frustrated, trying to communicate with them, and they stonewall. They'll, very famous, the narcissistic stare, where they will just look at you and blink. It's also the sociopathic, sociopaths and narcissists. They'll just stand there and blink while you're getting more and more frustrated, trying to bring a reasonable, issue to the table. So this sort of induced conversation is where the narcissist gets all their power, where you end up doing all the talking and they are completely giving you the silent treatment or stonewalling and manipulating you, and hence they're keeping their power. And this is part of the reason they, part of their strategy for keeping power over you. And then every once in a while, what a narcissist will do is they'll like throw you a little bone or a little crumb and sort of keep you hooked in that, toxic dance. So, really, I think one way that you can deal with this is just literally is, respond, don't react, and you can piece out of the conversation and you can say something like, hey, you are stonewalling me right now. I'm asking you direct questions and you are not giving me honest answers. So because of that, I'm going to exit this conversation. And if you have something that you'd like to say to me about this issue, then feel free to bring it up at some point in the future. But obviously, long-term, you cannot be in relationships with narcissists. They don't do functioning long-term relationships for the most part. There's a few that get help, get self-aware, do a lot of work around themselves, but they are the exception because, again, narcissists do not go to therapy typically. There's jokes in the therapeutic community that they're like, yeah, we don't know much about narcissism because narcissists never come to us, because why would they ever need therapy? They don't think there's anything wrong with being the way they are. They don't think that there's anything wrong with them. Part of their defense mechanism is that they must be perfect, right? So if you're perfect, why would you ever need therapy? And, again, this is another, they cannot handle the idea or suggestion that there's anything less than perfect, about them. And that's absurd because all humans have imperfections. We all have, none of us are perfect. And that's just part of being human. It's part of being part of the human condition. And authenticity requires vulnerability, it requires honesty, it requires transparency, and these are not currencies that narcissists operate in, and they certainly, usually they do not do any sort of self-reflection or introspection. They're not self-aware. These people are typically not self-aware. There's some higher level narcissists and sociopaths who probably know exactly what they are, but again, they don't think there's anything wrong with being that way, so that there's very little impetus for them to change. So yeah, I don't know if this is helpful, but again, induced conversation is a way that a narcissist can maintain power over their victims, usually people with self-love deficit disorder, codependence, or empaths. Have a really good day, and I hope you love my hat. Bye.
Okay, so that one was amazing to me. And the reason why it was amazing was because I've observed psychopaths doing exactly what she said. Like they would go up to the TI, they would agitate the TI, and the TI is going off, you so-and-so, da-da-da-da-da, and just like, going off on the psychopath and just sitting there like stone. They're just like watching it. I'm like, what the heck? Like, why do they do that? And they kept doing this and doing this and doing this and doing this. I'm like, why do they keep doing that to TIs? Why? And that's it. This is exactly, just watch the video again because she just explained. When I saw that video, I was like, oh my God, that's why. Well, maybe maybe there's more reasons. That's probably not like the exact why, but thank you for giving me the thumbs up. Maybe that's not the exact reason why, but that's the beginning, right? That explains a lot of why, as a narcissist, psychopath, sociopath, or whatever you want to call them, why they keep agitating TIs to the point, trying to force a reaction, trying to force a conversation, because they always want to try to talk to a TI, you know? And this is why, like, this is part of their madness. There's a method to their madness. If I just talk, I'm just going to repeat what she said, but I think she did a perfect job, you know, explaining it. And just watch that video again. I'll post a link to the videos in the description box. I'm kind of going over time, so let me play the next video, which is also a good video. And then I'm going to wrap it up. I didn't think it was going to be this long. I thought I was going to go over by half an hour, but I'm going over by a lot. And here's the next video.
Most name brand bars and body washes.
These commercials. All right. Okay. So let's see. This next video, let me there's in the video there's a description of what induced conversation is. I'm going to read it to you because you can't really see what I'm saying as of now. Hold on. So it says, it defines induced conversation as the deadliest of the P-narc, I don't know what a P-narc is, psychopathic narc, I guess, wrestling moves. It's calculated attempts to engage in a person, calculated attempts to engage a person in a conversation for the sole purpose of manipulation, control, and domination. It's exploiting the SLDs. I'm not, this is a psychiatrist or somebody, he's a coach or something, and he has his own terms. I don't know what these terms are. Exploiting SLD's reflex to defend themselves and the propensity to make up and be nice. And the content of such conversation is irrelevant. And the person's being manipulated in one or both wrestling rings and one of many hoovering techniques. I know that's confusing, but if you watch the video, it'll make more sense. Here's the video.
I'll say it one more time. Induced conversation. It is the primary weapon that the narcissist pig wrestler uses in order to maintain their power and control over you. If and when you try to disconnect with them, you try to set boundaries, you try to break off the relationship, you try to utilize the observe, don't absorb technique, it's going to fail miserably if you don't understand what is at stake for the narcissist if they should not be able to keep you in a wrestling ring. Think of it as if you are their oxygen and they needed you to breathe or to live. Narcissists are nothing by themselves despite their own thoughts. They are filled with shame, dread, and insecurity, and they are not conscious of it. In fact, it's almost impossible for them to be conscious of it except in rare occasions when they melt down and that window of opportunity opens up and they can connect to their shame. And many of us have seen how pathetically broken they act. And that's when they beg and plead and will promise you everything. But that window closes very quickly and does not come back. They are oblivious to their darker sides, their shame. The induced conversation is what keeps them in control. It's what commands their power and control strategies. As long as they can get you to respond to them, talk to them, defend yourself, argue, then you are in the wrestling ring. Now, it sounds deceptively simple that this one idea, induced conversation, this one technique that the narcissists use is actually that powerful. But think of it. How many times have you or an SLD or a codependent, SLD, self-love deficient person, or a codependent tried to break free from a narcissist, set the boundaries, complete break from the relationship, and feel strong and focused and resolute about their plan to finally end the insanity. Well, the narcissist knows exactly the weaknesses and the vulnerabilities of their codependent prey. They understand more than you could ever imagine the ins and outs of codependency addiction, or self-love deficit disorder addiction. They know that there will be a point that you will unconsciously crave their company. Whether it makes sense or not, whether it's rational or not, they know that you are going to find a way to be around them, to be a part of a conversation, to crave their company, emotional connection, or even sexual connection. So for them to make this self-defeating addiction process move forward, they have to get you to talk to them. If you do a no contact mode in your life and you tell your therapist, your friends, and everyone that you are just done, you've walked away, you've blocked them from your phone, you just avoided them from all different places of your life. The only way that they can get back in your life is through induced conversation. They have to find a way to get you to talk. And these narcissists are pretty darn clever, really clever. Sometimes it's just, hey, I just want to let you know that you left your toothbrush at my house. Would love to give it back to you. Let me know when's the time to drop it off. Sometimes it's more antagonistic. You have no idea how much you've hurt me, and I deserve a chance to just have I deserve one chance to explain to you how much I love you, and I think we can work this out. Or it could be deceptively manipulative, and they can throw the kids under the bus. Bobby, the son, Bobby's teacher called me and he said that we should talk, and I think it's a good idea for us to talk. Don't worry about our problems. I respect your boundaries. Whatever the strategy for the narcissist to induce conversation, it's going to be the one that connects most with your vulnerability. I cannot overestimate how important it is for you to know that everything that you worked for in your boundaries, your use of observe, don't absorb technique, in your discussions and plans for breaking free from the abuse, in your education and support with gaslighting, the addiction to codependency, the addiction to self-love deficit disorder is so intense. It's so difficult to break. The narcissist just has to find a way to give you just a little pinprick of the drug. And the drug comes from the conversation. It reminds me of a video clip in the Blues Brothers where Jake and Elliot Blues were finally chased by Carrie Fisher, who had this gun and was trying to kill Jake this whole time. And you didn't know until the very ending why she was trying to murder him. And we would find out at the end that he left her on their wedding day and abused her and neglected her and just treated her really, really badly. And she was intent of shooting him, killing him. Finally, when he's laying prostrate on the ground, full of mud, Dan Aykroyd is in the back. And he gets up and he takes off his sunglasses and he starts to talk to her. And as soon as he started saying, babe, I love you, you could see Carrie Fisher's character just melt. It's like she remembered the love that they had. She remembered the fantasy of being in love. And she dropped her machine gun and went to kiss the Blues Brother. And then he dropped her in the mud and went on. But that scene is such a perfect example of induced conversation. Jake Blues knew all too well that all he needed was to break her focus in her anger and her rage to protect herself and to exact vengeance by killing him. He knew that if he can get her into a conversation and just get her to listen to him, he would connect to this SLDD addiction where she would have this memory of some long lost love and euphoric experience of closeness and sweet emotional enrichment. be careful. Your narcissist might not be as slick and suave and certainly as funny as the characters in that movie, but all they need to do is talk to you. Do not underestimate the power of the conversation. How many of us know, either friends or ourselves, how we as recovering SLDs or codependents, we finally got to the point when we were done. And we were angry. And as long as we stayed angry, we're cool. We are going to march forward towards this idea of finally ridding ourselves of the narcissistic abuse. But something happens and you talk to the narcissist and somehow you remember all the sweetness and the kindness. That's the insanity, the absolute insanity. So when you are applying the observe, don't absorb technique, and you're using many of my other suggestions, techniques, or strategies, including the 3 boundary rule that's in a recent video, please do not forget the importance of neutralizing induced conversation. Be on alert. Do not talk. Do not respond. Do not reflexively interact, because a narcissist knows what they're doing and they will get you back into the wrestling ring, back in that dysfunctional, codependent narcissist dance that I talk about in my human magnet syndrome, by virtue of the conversation. That's all it takes. Think of it this way, and I know this because I'm an addictions counselor, I'm a certified addictions counselor and a certified sex addiction treatment provider, is that if you are sober, for example, I have not smoked in 13 years, and I don't plan to ever smoke again, but I know that I cannot even have one puff, one drag of a cigarette, because once I get the nicotine in me, all of a sudden, the irrational urge of wanting more of something that I thought I could control, that made me feel so good, I have this urge overtake me that I can't control all of those years of promises that I will never smoke again. All of the years of knowledge that if I smoke just one cigarette, I'll start back up again. All that gets washed away because something happens in my brain that I'm not even aware of, where all of a sudden I'm thinking, well, this feels really good. And I can control it. I can control it this time. And I reach for the next cigarette and the next cigarette. And next thing you know, after 13 years of not smoking, I just bought a carton of cigarettes. And then finally, I say, screw it. I'm just going to smoke. And then the drugs got me. Well, the narcissist is the same way. Look at it like a terrible addiction. And the way that the narcissist gets you to smoke them is to get the conversation going. So in closing, if and when you are ready to leave your narcissist abuser, the narcissist that you work for, the narcissist that you live with, the friend, the family member, the husband, the wife, the partner, and you are resolute about this no contact and the end of the relationship, do not get lulled into the conversation. I hope this helps you, and I wish you the very best of luck in your pursuit of self-love abundance, because there's nothing worse than living a life with this terrible self-love deficiency disorder, this codependency thing. Life is short. In the words of George Eliot, it's never too late to be the person you should have been. If you like this video, please subscribe or like, and or just send a link to a friends who most need this information. Bye-bye.
All right. So that's the last video. I am so sorry. I thought I was going to go over by a half an hour, but I ended up going over by more than an hour. I'm going to wrap this up. I did have another video to show, but I'm not going to make you sit here for another hour. So thank you for whoever stuck with it through the end. I hope it helps. I hope it was worth it. So that's it. So the reason why I brought up the induced conversation is because that's something I've also noticed in the research. Like I said, they try to force you into interactions. They try to force you into conversation. What are they up to? What are they up to? And I hope that induced conversation piece does help, because you are dealing with something very similar to psychopath, sociopath, and narcissist. So what you can do moving forward, this is the last of the holiday TI free TI hours. So you can learn about, and the reason why I showed you those videos, I'm giving you the link, is because I would like you, but it's your choice. Remember, I just give you information. You choose what you want to do. To learn more about narcissists and psychopaths. And I want you to really, really, really learn about the female psychopath, because she could be hard to see. And don't forget to learn about child psychopaths also, because the gang stalkers like to use their kids also in the campaigns, and they also use their kids as weapons. And if you learn about female psychopaths, you'll learn that she loves to use the mother loves to use her kids as a weapon, and that's going to help you protect yourself. What I can say, I mean, just to touch on the kid thing is, how do you say? So let me just give you a quick experience. So I've noticed that sometimes the beast will play victims as they are attacking a TI. I've seen a female beast covertly harass a TI and play the victim as she is doing it. Example, last week I read a story about a TI who worked in a dress store. A beast female came in with her daughter and had her and she had her daughter use all the signals to let the TI know that they were gang stalkers, while she acted like the sweetest person on the earth. They were trying to agitate the TI, and when the TI became wary because there was a child involved and she didn't know what the plan was or what they were trying to do, the beast mother acted as if she was hurt and complained to the managers about the TI being rude. So my general advice is stay away from gang stalker kids. I suggest staying away from any kid, because the beasts like to use children in the campaign a lot, and they will use the kids to lie about you and cause issues. And sometimes they will go as far as using your own kids, or they will go as far as using a family member's kids. So I mean, I know that's like going overboard. I'm not trying to make you paranoid about your own family. It's just that I've had TIs write to me about betrayal and their families betraying them. Just stay away from kids. Plain and simple. Okay. And the reason why I say that, and of course, just because they could make up stuff. And let's see, kids. So I suggest staying away from kids, because the beast likes to use children in the campaigns a lot, and they'll use the kids to lie about you and cause issues. I've already read that. The children and that's because children have a protected place in human society, and the beast uses to trap and hurt TIs by using beast kids as weapons. Don't coo, talk, or especially do not touch their kids. Always address the parent so the child can't lie and said you said or did something you didn't do. The beast knows that people will probably believe a child claiming inappropriate behavior from an adult towards them more than they would an adult claiming inappropriate behavior from a child. If you were alone with a child, or someone wasn't there when you were talking to the child said, "Oh, that guy or girl over there said this to me," and they start crying, and you come over here and say, "I didn't say that to you. I said da da da." They're probably more prone to believe the child if it's something really bad than you. But if you're talking to the parent and the child, the parent says, "Well, she said this to my child," and you're like, "I didn't say that." You have more equal stance than if a child claims it. So that's why I wouldn't even talk to children at all. Okay. So that way the child can't lie and say you did or said or do anything, and the parent is always there. The parent is always there. So they can't claim, "Oh, well, she was off alone with my child," or "I wasn't there when this happened, but this is what my child told me." No, make sure the parent is always there. So the beast, so the female psychopath is hard to see, but learn how to spot her, because she is just as dangerous as the male psychopath. And I repeat that. She is dangerous. Jane Tsai is, okay. I was all girl power when I came into this. I was girl power, feminist and everything. Like, I didn't even look at the girls. If something happened, I was looking at the guy. I'm not going to lie. That was it. The guys were the problem when I came into this. But after learning what I've learned, woo. No, no, it's all equality here. The girls are just as bad as the guys. And I can go on and on about that, but I've already spent a lot of time. So yeah, the female psychopath is just as dangerous as the male psychopath. And guys, don't get all macho and say, "Well, she's just a girl, she's not gonna do it." No, she is vindictive. She's sneaky. She's underhanded. If you know what's good for you, you're gonna learn how to spot how to spot her, she's going to use sex against you because she depends on her sexuality. Okay. She's going to try to get you into sex. She's going to throw it all in your face. Okay. Stay away from her. Okay. And she knows what she's doing. Okay. They call their little, lack of a better term, whores. They say their whores have skills. Okay. She has a skill set and she uses sex against guys all the time. So just please, guys, don't get macho. Don't I don't know if you've been reading the chat, but he said that one of the girls that he was dealing with, who I don't know if she was a female psychopath, but she tried to get him to have sex on the first date, and I guess he was uncomfortable with that. And that's a female psychopath does use sex a lot, her sexuality a lot, and inappropriate ways. And just please, guys, learn about her, learn how to spot her. And if I were you, it's not worth 1 night, 2 nights, or whatever. I wouldn't go near her if I were you, because she will suck the life out of you. And girls, don't trust her for anything. She hates other females. She hates them. She doesn't like us. She's it's surprising she doesn't hate herself. That's how much she hates other females. But like I said, I will do a video about Jane Tsai. I call her Jane Tsai, Jane Psychopath, because Jane Doe, Jane Tsai. I'll do a video about her so you can learn more about her. And when I say her, I'm just using it as the personality types. So no, there's not one girl who's a Jane Tsai. When I say Jane Tsai, I'm referring to a whole group of female psychopaths. It's just easier for me to say it that way. So I read that. So educate yourself. And so the reason why I show the videos is so that you can start learning. You can watch videos about narcissists and psychopaths and start learning about these types of people. And also PLN wrote, if you ever read The Tao of War or The Art of War by Sun Tzu, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's a classic. It's a classic war book. And PLN wrote something similar to it. I'll get the link to it and put in the YouTube videos description box so that you could read that. It might be clear right away, where you can use it to help you figure out what is happening in certain situations and your interactions with the beast. And sometimes it's not clear. And if it isn't clear, you could stay tuned, because I plan on using that to sort of explain certain situations and what TIs go through. So maybe that'll make it clear too. But I'm going to post a link after I get off here, and you might just want to take a look at it quickly to see if it'll help you, if it'll be clear to you right away, because you could use it right away. It's all how to deal with, it's all survival techniques. I don't have exposure for you right now. I can't say DOJ is on it, the police are on it, this is exposed, everyone knows. I don't have that for you right now. Well, the only thing I could offer you right now are survival tips. Ways to survive so that you can do what you need to do for yourself. Maybe if you want to, you could, become an activist in a situation, just things to help you survive until exposure comes. So try to stay calm and try to observe the beast. You have more control than you think, or they want you to believe. Don't do anything drastic, because the beast don't go out there. I want to empower you, but I don't want you to go out there, because the situation hasn't changed as of now. So don't go out there, and do anything drastic, because the beast still has the wool pulled over most of the people's eyes. Most people still do think TIs are crazy and that this doesn't exist and blah, blah, blah. That's the reality of the situation. But, just start. So you got to live in that reality till it starts changing, exposure happens. And, but in that meantime, just start figuring things out for yourself, taking care of yourself, doing what's best for you. So in closing, PLN, and I'm sorry, this went way overboard. I should have watched the time of the videos more. I just was so excited, oh my God, I got to share this. Oh my goodness, I got to share this. So PLN is not trying to be the all-knowing of everything gang stalking. PLN just wants to add to and neither am I. PLN nor RX is not trying to be the all-knowing of everything gang stalking. PLN and RX just want to add to the information pool and offer different perspectives, so that maybe one day information from various sources can be put together to try to find out the truth about what is going on. I don't have enough viewers to do this every week. But every viewer does count and matter to me. So I will not stop TI Hour as of now, but I will make it every 2 weeks instead of every week. I mean, if I had more viewers, I would do it every week, but you know, I'm going to switch it to every 2 weeks. It does require a lot of work and stuff, and I am pretty busy. So I'm going to do it every 2 weeks because that's going to fit into my schedule, make it less hectic for me, and it still make it available to the people who do watch, because you do matter to me. You know, you do matter. And I thank you for watching and sticking with me, even though I'm like in I'm going over 2 hours. So I might, so I'll make it every 2 weeks. I will make it every 2 weeks until demand grows, if it grows. This will be but every 2 weeks will be the schedule until further notice. And I might increase or decrease the free TI-hour sessions depending on factors other than viewership. So don't be alarmed if there are any changes. Don't be alarmed if I have to do it once a month instead of 2 times a week and stuff. I don't know yet. Depends on my schedule. And so yeah, as of now, TI-hour will be every 2 weeks, and the topics will be posted along with the day that the next show will be on. I'm gonna end this right now. I'll get on for about 10 minutes to see if anybody has random talk. I don't think anyone will, and I'm not trying to say don't do it, but I'm gonna end this live stream, and then I'll come back and just hang out for like 5 or 10 minutes to see if anybody wants to talk. If no one talks, I'm gonna cut it short and say goodbye. All right. So thanks for watching. I'm sorry I went over 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm sorry I went over 2 hours, and I hope this was helpful. And that's pretty much it. Have a good new year. I hope things will start progressing soon. I will see you hopefully in 2 weeks. I don't know what the topic is yet. I haven't thought about it. So I'll come back in 10 minutes and talk from there. All right. Thanks. Bye.